everyone. We're going to take about 2 minutes to hurry and set out some chairs. We're going to do a little talk back. Then we're going to do a champagne toast and enjoy some incredible boysenberry cake. With, I will note, like you see it back here, the cake is recreation of the wallpaper, and the middle one, which is recreation of the birdcage, is edible too. So very excited. So give us just a minute to get this up ready, and we'll start. Okay? Hi everyone, welcome. I'm especially excited to welcome this group here today because whether you know it or not, the collection of all the people in here are probably some of the most magical people in the history of the Birdcage Theater, either current or in the past. We're joined here by a myriad of previous cast members. Make some noise if you're out there, people who've been in the shows before. All right. Previous cast members. We've got old directors, writers, and producers. Mr. Ken Parks, where you at? There you are. We have a lot of old performers from the space, but I already called them out first. Oh, and you were a performer too. We have, and what? It's a state of mind, really. We're also happy to be joined by the construction team who actually helped make this a reality. So let's give them a round of applause. Great. And then I'm a little biased, but we're also joined by the tech and production teams who helped bring this space to life. Right? Along with the designers and the artisans who helped create it. So welcome to everyone. We're so honored that you're all here. So the Birdcage Theater, 72 years ago is when this place opened in 1954. In case you don't know, it was founded by Woody Wilson and George Stewart in 1954. And a lot of people don't realize, it was originally built by them and a collection of students. And it was like a concessionaire theater, right? Did anybody know that? Did everybody know that? All right. There's a nice revenue split between Walter, Cordelia, and them. I don't even know what tickets cost back then. Does anyone know what it cost to get into the Birdcage in 1954? 35 cents? 5 cents? What a steal that would have been. It's a little bit more, but don't worry, it's still a much better bargain at this park. But what's really cool is a lot of the original performers were actually just students from Whittier College, right? So there's a very deep, rich history in the space. Speaking of rich history, Dale. We're joined up here by Dale. Everyone give Dale a hand. So Dale, you weren't in those original 1954 casts, but...
Despite what people think.
But your first year was 1974.
1974, yeah.
All right. I know, right? 1974. What was the first show you were in?
Let me see. I think it was the one about anybody. None of you people were at that time.
Fortune and Flames.
Fortune and Flames. You're right. It was Fortune and Flames.
What was the premise? Do you remember?
It's actually an old melodrama. It's I don't know the whole premise of the whole thing. I remember, but there's a big fire that happens on the stage. So we had a fire and everything on the stage. Fake fire. It was fake. Yes. If I knew then you had a fireman that came and saved the girl and everything like that.
Oh, okay. What was the theater like then?
Well, the only thing that was the same is the old wallpaper that you brought back, which is my favorite thing. There's not anybody here back there that knew that back then? Because I think it was pretty soon after that we covered it up, but that's a copy of the original wallpaper that was up here. Yeah. First of all, there was no air conditioning. There was a swamp cooler right over there. There was the noisiest thing you ever heard in your whole life. So we'd work on summertime, all our full costumes out in the heat, and the audience would sit there. I don't know how they ever did that. They'd sit there through those shows out in the heat. We'd come backstage and take our costumes and really wrap them around there to get all the moisture out of them, yes.
Well, I hate to say it, I think it was like that last summer too.
Yeah, but see, then I was in my 20s.
All right, well, help us understand, what was it like to come into the theater just 2 weeks ago after we had finished kind of most of the refurb, for you to come back to the space?
This is more of the kind of stuff that they always wanted it to be, that they never stopped or put the money in to do it, I think. Does anybody else agree with me out there? Yeah, because they never would pour enough money into everything was sort of like half done and everything because there wasn't any money for it. So yeah, but this is great, and we have real LED lights here, so it's not hot guys like it used to be out here. Makes a big difference in everything. Yeah.
Well, I'm glad that we're kind of segueing into scenic a little bit. You know, if you look around, obviously there's a lot of original details that we brought back. You know, you might look up and just think, oh, it's like, you know, an immense amount of drapery, but it's really meant to kind of emulate, you know, classic Victorian draperies that they used to use to cover bird cages, right? So Daniel, if you pass Daniel the mic, you know, we began work on this, spring of last year, right? For the most part. And we had wanted to solve a lot of the problems of the space, right? Sound was not great. You had the reflective vinyl tent and the cement, which was just awful. The sound was just horrible. You know, the outside sounds are also horrible. We've got much better temperature regulation we needed to solve. The smell needed to be solved. I mean, anybody who's come to a show here since the beautiful invention of a trash compactor, which serves a great purpose, just not for theater. And then a lot of the design capabilities, like Dale had kind of alluded to with the lighting. So, Daniel, when we first talked about this project, what were some of the main considerations that you wanted to solve, since you've designed a lot of shows in here before?
Yeah, I designed a number of shows, probably like over 5 or so throughout the years, both for Halloween and for the melodrama. Yeah, I think all those things we had to really take into account, because there's like roaming cats that would live in the house, and
we still have those. Well, not the same cats, but we still have cats. They're just not allowed in the house anymore.
We wanted to up the aesthetic of it, and we wanted to keep it vintage to that Victorian feel. I knew about the wallpaper. There's one panel that was still kind of remaining, and in the back of my mind, I always wanted to. Actually, during COVID times, we actually did an attempt at designing our dream version of this. We had a lot of time during COVID, so we designed our dream version of that, and some of those elements came back into this new project. So definitely I had something in my mind to bring into it, to bring it to fruition. All the elements like the front lighting, and we really wanted to concentrate on lighting too. Anne McMills, she's our lighting designer. She brought in so much.
And while we're riffing off that, yeah, shout out to Anne for this incredible new lighting design. I also want to shout out Carrie Noel, where you at? Carrie was also one of the scenic designers who partnered with Daniel on the project. So
without her, there would be nothing. I mean, she did all the calculations of each of these drapes to make sure that they hide and mask all the lighting.
Talk about the challenges while you were designing.
Well, definitely, all the spaces are not exactly what you think they are. So once we kind of pull away the what's here, you always discover new things, and there were weird things in the corners that we had never really even looked at or seen. So,
and maybe like 40, we may have hidden some weird things in the walls for when the next refurb happens 40 years from now. Yeah, I mean, watching the way you and Carrie navigated not only dealing with this old structure, right, of the building, but also backing in these drapery solutions, truly incredible, right? And part of that process was partnering with CalPro, and big shout out also to our maintenance friends here at Knott. Just so kind of people understand the scale of not just the aesthetic approaches to this, but the actual structural updates. If you remember, that back wall used to lean in kind of a very strange, ominous way. So they plumbed everything up. Tom, plumb? Yeah. Everything is now fully insulated, which is incredible. We basically turned this whole thing into a soundstage. So we're deeply grateful that not only did we get some aesthetically beautiful space, but we also got a sound structural space that will last us 72 more years. So thank you so much. Laura, now Sorry. That's my cue to tell the team to start pouring champagne. Hey, Jeff, Mr. Tucker.
Hello.
How's it going?
It's going great.
Everyone, Jeff Tucker, director of the Great Bank Robbery, and also you direct pretty much most of the shows that we have in this space. For how long have you been the director in here?
On and off, like 10 or 12 years, because I started way back doing a Dr. Cleaver show in here, and it just sort of blossomed into the Christmas shows and now the spring show.
Okay.
Did anybody catch Daniel as the bank portrait?
So this show we premiered last year, but we went through a bit of a rewrite, kind of trimmed some of the fat and remounted it this year. What was that process like, kind of remounting a show in here? Especially the different atmosphere of the space now.
Well, you get the advantage of putting it in front of an audience and seeing what works and what doesn't. So I just shut my door for about 3 days, and I tear the script apart, and I put it back together, and I know that coming into this kind of brand new space, we're going to have all these new options. We can talk about the wanted poster and then flash a light to it. We can open the box of gold and flash gold. That's all Anne's doing. We can do all these sound effects things and things we could never do before in such a limited space. So we have so many more options, and that helps when you're putting the script together of like, I get to open up a whole new toolbox of things that we can put in here, and it really just makes the show so much more robust and fun, and I just think it just pops. There's never a lag in the show, it just keeps popping.
Yeah. When you rewrote the show, and I'd imagine as we continue to rewrite shows, you love to put in some really great Knott's lore and nuggets. So, and I don't know if you know this, but this guy can coin a phrase quicker than anyone I've ever known. He's quicker with his words than anyone. I can make a joke and he'll like top it 4 times over.
I'm sorry.
So as you went through the kind of the adjustments to the show, talk to me about the lore of Knott's that you like to speak to in your writing.
Yeah, well, I like to have the shows take place at Knott's Berry Farm, because so many of the melodramas we've done before, the idea is that there's a traveling troupe and they come in and they're presenting, this story from the great Mississippi River. And as fun as that was, and Riverboat Revenge is fun with the chase at the end, I always like to ground it. And it started with Gift of the Magi and carried into Christmas Carol, where we just say, look, it takes place at Knott's Berry Farm. So it's in Calico. We can reference all the Calico buildings and the lore. I love this show specifically because in Act 2, we're presenting this bad guy and there's a puppet on stage. But the moment that the log goes through, the audience goes, oh, this is crazy. And that's topped by all of us who've ridden the log ride and done the sit down, sit down, sit down. So we get to do that. And it is the actual recording from the ride. So I love all that stuff.
Well, thanks, Jeff. Speaking of Jeff Shattuck here, would you mind passing out the mic down? So we went into this project with a full plan. Actually, originally all this drapery was supposed to come all the way to the ground. There were sound panels hidden behind them. We were focused on heat and sound. That's what we were trying to fix. And as we got into the project, as you would with any building here on Knott's Berry Farm, you start opening up the walls and you make discoveries for good or for bad. So why don't you talk about some of the happy accidents, Jeff?
Well, one of the happy accidents was I was hesitant to have the drapery come all the way down, and I brought up the concern because the chairs are all right up against the wall, and I was like, hey, that's got a huge cost for all this drapery. Let's explore. And then at about the same day, some of the paneling came down. I'm like, oh my God, that amazing wallpaper, it's on this wall. And I'm like, Peyton, give me a second. I went over to there.
We just started
pulled
like tearing
piece
walls
off.
out. We're like, oh, it's over here too.
And I had no idea. I've been at Knott's for 28 years, and I had no idea that wallpaper went all the way around. And I said, hey, we need to bring it all back.
We should have just asked Dale. That would have been a lot easier.
So that was one of the fun, happy accidents. And I think the other one was there was always a gate in that back corner over there that you couldn't see because it was in a dark corner, and then at some point it got covered with a bunch of fabric, and Peyton ripped the fabric off of it, and we looked at it and we're like, oh my God, it's a bird cage. So that is actually what inspired. We got rid of the wooden walls that were in the back, and now when you enter the theater, you can see all the way through and into the stage, and that's what inspired these guardrails in the back.
Yeah, we actually, if there was ever an opportunity to take the original detail and recreate it, that is exactly what we did. And the teams, that's why I want to give a shout out to our tech and production teams here in entertainment, because they did all of this work, and they did a really incredible job. So, well, I think right now is about high time for us to have some champagne. Yeah? Okay, so by all means, please let's pass out champagne. If you are under 40, or appear to be under 40, they may ask to card you. Take it as, like, you know, be honored. Thank you for asking. Here is my ID. And if they don't ask you, just go, they didn't ask me. We're going to go ahead and pass out some champagne, and we'll do a nice little cheers. And then afterward, we'll let you all loose to go. Oh, it's boysenberry champagne. We got to stick with the theme, of course. And then the cakes that are in the back, you'll notice there are 3 cakes back there. We're going to cut up the sheet cakes. Laura did it, and her team, Priscilla and the bakery team, did an incredible job. They rebuilt the Birdcage Theater completely in cakes, so the middle one is totally edible. And then the 2 on the outside is a recreation of all of the wallpaper too. And it's boysenberry, and we ate it the other day. It's delicious. So if you all aren't sick of boysenberry, sorry, today's day 1 of the festival. We also have, if you do not consume alcohol or you prefer not to, we also have a Martinelli's. Is that correct, Laura? Yes, we do. So probably just raise your hand, let Liz or someone know, and they'd be happy to get some. So we'll give it just a second so we can pass it out. Don't drink it all because we got to save it for a moment. So to 72 years of the incredible Birdcage Theater, and to 72 more. This land is yours. I'm just kidding. All right, thank you so much, everybody. Please get some cake, walk around, enjoy the space. Please don't spill. But thank you so much for being here, and enjoy the rest of the festival, okay? Thank you.
Thank you.